Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of This Is Your Captain Speaking. Today I have Stefan on from Artegic. Really excited to have Stefan on. Stefan's also part of the United Technologies group with Artegic, which is also part of the same group that Marmind are involved with, a couple of other organizations as well. For example, SendShare, Artegic, and Facelift. Really excited to have you on today, Stefan. Good to have you.
Hi, Andy. Hi, everyone.
So let me give a bit of a background on Stefan. So Stefan, I've been doing my research on you, stalking you a little bit on LinkedIn. So if you see who's been looking at your LinkedIn profile, you're definitely going to have a few hits from me. But so Stefan, you studied mechanical engineering, but we'll get into that now in a few minutes, which is interesting in terms of where you ended up now. But I see that you started Artegic and have been a founder there and now currently the CEO, but founded the company in 2005. So Artegic has been around for quite a bit of time. And just for people's background, what Artegic do is they focus on real-time marketing automation and online CRM. They have the technology for that, but also focus on support and IT integration there as well. Stefan, give us a little bit of flavor, more so than what I've just done there in Artegic in terms of what you guys do.
Yeah, this is quite difficult in a complex space like marketing automation. We founded Artegic with the idea of helping marketers to really improve the value of their customer relationships, primarily by high personalized communication. So this was the start of the idea. And around that, we built a software as a service package that helps to kind of manage the data on customers, on the transactions, that helps to automate the interaction, that helps to learn on customers in terms of progressive profiling, and thus helping marketers to really be in the right spot, in the right moment to communicate with their customers, with the idea to create more loyal, more profitable customer relationships. So this is what we're doing for 18 years now. And it's a very interesting space. There's almost every year there's new aspects, new innovations in this topic. So keeps me very interested.
Good stuff. And just on that, so is it purely email that you guys offer, or do you have integrations with other platforms, I guess, as well?
No, we're not purely email, but in email we're best. We do support all kind of digital push channels like text or SMS, we call in German, push messaging, also a little bit of on-site and other channels that could be digitally enabled, up to things like digital print. But this is not the space we are in. We just help our customers to be kind of omni-channel in their customer journeys. But our primary focus has been email, as we see this is the overall most important value driver for our customers.
Understood. And I guess when you guys founded the company back in 2005, email would have been a very prime channel within that customer journey back then as well, correct?
Yeah, email is quite funny, as it really has been re-innovating itself over the years. When we started in 2005, we weren't the first ones on email. There were email platforms around, there were CRM platforms around, but we see that email was quite an important channel back then, and it stayed at this position. Other channels came, and some of them also go. So we saw the social media topics coming around. We saw the mobile now pushing in. And so, but overall, we see that email kind of is the main hook in the customer journey, from the identification perspective on the customer, as well as on the capabilities of email.
Yeah, it's interesting, the identification perspective. Yes, our online ID is email, right? That's the thing. That's how we are identified as shoppers online. Typically, it's if you have cookie information, but once they're de-anonymized, it's email, right? That's the thing that everybody cares about. That's the thing that identifies us against others, and that's not going to change, right? That's
yeah, that's quite funny. We saw that when the first wave of social media had its impact, everybody was telling, okay, email now is dead. It's going to be social media. We said, okay, let's see. And then after a while, all these big platforms like Facebook and Twitter and others try to engage me through email to get back on their platforms. So it has been the retention channel, it has been the identification channel. And I think there's even more things coming for email, as with this first party data coming as the very important topic for all kind of brands. Email is the center of it all. And we also see when it comes to tracking, like the cookie-less aspect, or even in the mobile sphere where tracking gets more difficult, email tends to be the start for the customer journey. You want customers to come through email so you can identify them on site and in all your kind of ecosphere. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Lots of new aspects that really drives the importance of email, but it's only one channel of a lot of possibilities that are out there.
That's super interesting. You even put it with Facebook reaching out to you via email to get to get you to sign up. I mean, how do you sign up for Facebook? You need to sign in with an email address, right? It's like it's, as you said, the first step in any customer journey typically starts with email. Okay, yes. Very interesting. Let's go back a little bit, because I'm interested in learning about you a little bit here, Stefan, as well. Mm-hmm. So we spoke just before this. I'm intrigued about the mechanical engineering aspect to you, because you studied to be a mechanical engineer, so Maschinenbau, as they say mm-hmm. in German. How did you manage to go from mechanical engineering to email?
I have to say, if one in this space of automating emails, I would probably automate some processing in a factory. But the overall story of Strategic has started quite earlier than 2005. So I was building up the first company with some friends while we were already studying. So it was kind of the companies taking over the other aspects of possible future professionals, rather than going through mechanical engineering and then the step towards email. But I see that even though it's quite a different kind of industries, there are some aspects that really match. And it's quite interesting how both mechanical engineering has evolved, kind of data and other things, and AI especially, and also the digital marketing part.
Got it. And I see, like, you guys talk about marketing engineering as a core message.
How come?
It's all starting to make sense, right? But tell me a little bit about this marketing engineering and what that means.
Well, marketing engineering is an idea we created years ago. When we started in 2005, we found out that there's a huge gap between the marketing department with almost creative ideas, how to do things, less CRM, but more the creative part of marketing, and the IT department, who knows how to set up processes like marketing needed. And there was a huge gap, and we tried to bridge that and creating the idea that marketing engineering combines the know-how about what to do in customer relationships in marketing and how to come there, how to set up the necessary IT perspective on that. And that was kind of the idea of marketing engineering. And meanwhile, there's lots of others coming up with these idea, these concepts. We now see these biz dev ops concepts in marketing. We see marketeers being kind of half-time programmers, and yeah, it all comes together. But the idea was to combine these aspects of how to do it and what to do.
It's interesting. Yeah, things have changed massively since I started. I'm a marketer, right? So when I first started my career, it was a very different world, right, in terms of what was expected from a marketer to what it is today. And I've got guys on my team that are half digital marketing, are able to do like event organization, but they can also code a landing page for me if I need it. There's also, they need to know tools and systems inside out. So you need to have a technical builder almost that's able to manage an entire tech stack of marketing tools, right? To be able to make sure that everything is plugged into one another, make sure that we're able to interpret results based off, for example, we might be using 5 different online digital tools to either execute or measure results, whatever it might be. And we need to have that in one central repository, which is then collecting everything, right?
Yes.
I've got a marketer that's able to organize that for me. He'll probably be able to do it using another tool such as Zapier, as example, to be able to pull all that information and put it into a spreadsheet. A very simple example. So let's say, for example, I'm using a marketing automation platform to send email. I'm using, I'm firing Google ads, I'm firing Facebook ads, I'm firing LinkedIn ads. And I want to understand all of that information in one central repository, what's happening amongst all of those different campaigns. Very simply put, I might sync that into a Google Sheet. I'm then using all of those different tools together to be able to pull all that information. How do I do it? Okay, I'll use a tool like Zapier. Then I set up the workflows between each of these different tools and pull it into the one central repository. That's something that's managed by a marketer nowadays. Somebody that's also able to go and launch an event or set a digital campaign or whatever. Back in the day, that would take like hours of IT resource, right? So it's super interesting around this marketing engineering and the way that things are going. It's a cool view in the world.
It's also still evolving because not only the IT aspect or the part of IT in marketing has risen, but also the idea of marketing has changed. We come from the idea someone has a creative idea, someone has to paint it or produce it, and 2 night shifts of your agency, and then everything is launched, up and running, cool, let's have a beer, that's it. Today, you have to manage a dynamic, always running machine. So things are happening real time, you have to check, you have to adjust, and this gets even more complex with highly personalized communication, with testing, and even with AI, you save time on doing things, but the complexity rises. So you have to have an overview of what's happening now. And that really changed the role and the complexity of marketing.
For sure. Yeah, I fully agree that it's interesting to see where AI is going to take this now as well, right? A lot of marketers are sort of afraid of what AI is going to take over. I'm more on the side of how can AI help, actually. It might make things a little bit easier, but it's interesting. Like I think of, for example, people now are saying, oh, we can just get AI to write landing pages for us better than we can write it. And then the issue with things like that is though Google's going to catch on to that pretty quickly and start penalizing for using the likes of AI to create content, as an example, because there's already talk of that. Therefore, your rankings are not going to be ranked as well if you're seen to be using AI to create pages. So it's super interesting where it's going to go, but it's still very early days. Speaking of AI and email, where do you see AI fitting into email? There's already been some elements of AI in email, for example, send time optimization and things like that, personalization, open time content, things like that have been around for a number of years that use some element of AI or machine learning, or maybe not even, maybe we were just pretending they're AI or machine learning. If you speak to a techie guy, maybe like yourself, you're like, that's not AI, that's a lie. But where do you see it going with email?
Yeah, as you said, from an engineer's perspective, lots of AI out there is just someone has scripted a logic. So it's not AI or machine learning. But I think machine learning and AI will have a huge impact on marketing. And let me give you some examples. One, as you said, is the generative AI, the creating content stuff. And the idea is, I think, not on reducing the effort for a single mailing or landing page, but when it comes to personalization, we really need lots of capacity to write not one landing page. You have to write 100 or 1,000, as well as for email. So when it comes to personalization, AI really can take all the aspects of the customer, what you know about the customer, and what you want to transport or communicate into account, and then build something perfectly matching. Even more than a marketer could do on itself, because he has his own perspective. He couldn't maybe write for a specific type of customer or specific needs. So that is really interesting when it comes to personalization. The same for testing. If you want to leverage through multivariant testing, you have all the efforts necessary for personalization shifted to a much bigger amount of variants you have to create. And that's really where AI can really help marketers to do that in a feasible amount of time. This is one aspect of it. It can also help you to, in terms of segmentation. And we created a machine learning algorithm on segmenting within multivariant testing. And I come to this in a second. Well, I just tell you the idea. Its concept is design of experiment. You test different variants, and you want to find out not only which one is the best for everybody, but which element fits best for specific segments that the AI can learn. So you find segments you don't know before. It's not like the blue one is for the girls and the red one is for the boys. It's finding that a woman from Munich who has never bought anything in your shop fit the red communication better, and customers who have used a specific product and had 3 times contact with support they fit perfect for the blue one. So you find new segments, you learn about your customers, and you learn things about your customers you don't predict before, because that's a very important aspect when it comes together with first-party data. In first-party data, you always have the idea of 360 view on your customers. And that's a cool idea, but in the reality, most of the companies don't have that detailed view on customers. So prediction is limited to the data you already have. Testing enables you to find new aspects on data you don't have right now. And this makes testing very important. And these kind of machine learning algorithms can really help you leveraging that. And the connect to what we were speaking before is that this concept we developed, and we also have a patent on, comes from the motor management in cars. So the idea of having lots of attributes on, or a lot of data from an engine, and finding out the best way to manage it is the basic concept of what we use for this machine learning algorithm on finding the best aspects or best variant of messages for yet unknown segments of customers.
Stop you there for
now
one
we're
second
really
on
deep.
I want to get deeper on this. I'm going to go deeper. So when you say that it's based off of a car engine, right?
Yeah.
When did it just happen to be that way, or was that a plan from the beginning to be like, let's build it this way? I mean, there was probably iteration after iteration, or did it just end up that way?
Things come together, so it ended up that way. It was not like we started, let's find something in the engineering part that we can transfer to the marketing. No, it was just we found out concept, and we found out that these kind of algorithms really match to the idea, and the concept behind that is much more powerful than using it for learning which message or which email or which landing page fits best for specific segment. But it's always, you learn things, and somewhere later in your life, you learn that it's fit for something very different.
It's interesting. It's super interesting, and it's a cool story as well, actually. Okay, so is this live with you guys at the minute, or is it still in testing?
We had a couple of test runs or customers running on the early version of it. What we currently did is bringing all that into the interface of our software lane, so making it feasible for let's say a normal marketeer to use it in practical daily business.
Got it. Okay, great. You've mentioned now a couple of times first party data. and obviously with the way that things are moving with cookieless world, etc.
Mhm.
There's been my last guest on this podcast was David Rabb. I don't know if you've heard of David Rabb, who's the founder of the CDP Institute, so Customer Data Platform Institute. Would you guys, I know that CRM is what you refer to yourself as, but do you see yourself moving down the route of CDP at all?
Well, these names or tags on tools really evolve throughout time. You take a concept and then put a new tag on it. Actually, the concept of Elaine is like a CDP. So from the start on, we called it online CRM, which is a specific real-time capable view on your customers, including everything you need for personalization and for decisioning. So actually, Elaine is like a CDP. We don't call it CDP, first, because everybody is calling that tool CDP. And second, the idea is not to provide this information to anybody else in an ecosystem. So we're not the center of a MarTech ecosystem. We're very specific in terms of communication, of interaction and personalization. But the basic concept is a CDP.
Interesting. I asked that for a reason, because I've worked for a number of companies in the space, and I've seen, as you said, I've seen things change from ESP to just email service provider, to CRM, to CDP, to CDEP, to CDXP, to whatever, right? It's the acronyms they're changing all the time. But the core of it is that you're able to gather the customer data, see it in single customer views, understand everything about your customer, and then make a clever decision in terms of what's the next step basically with them, right? That sounds like Elaine, the product that you guys offer, is doing just that. Question for you, Elaine, why is it called Elaine?
It's always a question. People ask us why it's Elaine. There's no meaning behind Elaine from when we created this name. Actually, in the previous company where we were kind of programming software as a service, we were programming a framework for that, and we had a couple of software tools that use this framework, and they all had well-sounding names, female names, and Elaine was one of it. But actually, recently I found out that the major concept for the major driver for our customers to use Elaine in their email marketing or marketing automation space is to make really cool marketing, to let it shine, to have a kind of what's called wie sagt man, glänzend shiny is glänzend.
Yeah, shiny, glänzend is shiny,
yeah, to have shiny use cases set up to be seen in the company and outside. And then I found out that Elaine, the name is like the light, the shining, comes from Greek. So maybe there was more behind that than the original idea of just a female name.
Okay. I was going to ask, which engineer is married to an Elaine that was maybe not having the best day with him because he spent too long in the office, and they said, okay, we need to call it Elaine. But that's it. There's a good reasoning behind it. That makes sense. Okay, Stefan, we're right at time now. I want to say thanks so much for coming on and having a chat with me. It's been super interesting. Where can people find you, and where can people find Artegic?
Well, next stop for us is the Online Marketing Rockstars in Hamburg. I think we're all together there from the United Marketing Technologies Group. And we have a very cool pre-event on the Monday together with CrossEngage and Intelligent, Data and Drinks. And, well, you can always find me on LinkedIn.
Very good. We'll share all of your details on alongside with the podcast, and we'll make sure that people connect with you on LinkedIn. And then also this podcast will be going out pre-OMR. So if you're going to Online Marketing Rockstars in Hamburg, come by. We'll also send the details out to people of that as well. We'll put that in the description. Stefan, again, a big thank you from me. This has been really interesting and great to have a chat. And yeah, I hope to have you back again someday.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading.
Thanks, Stefan. Okay, guys, this was another episode of This Is Your Captain Speaking. Tune in next week for more content. Thanks.